Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Hump Day, Wednesday in the Riv after a council meeting last night. And what a council, what a clown show that was again. Uh, it's really concerning me now watching this council. I said, hopefully we would have a better council. It looks like it's worse. Might as well just have uh, the clown show we had before. Kilby might be, it just might as well be there anyway because this council has basically, once they got reelected, said, look, we got 2 years before anybody. Hey, Jeff, we're just going to do whatever the hell we want. And frankly, I'm already tired of Kadeem. I mean, it's out of control. I know that Cliff is the president, but I think Batman is in charge of Robin because he's beginning to become like the, he's the boss in the council, and he scolds anybody that doesn't agree, and he's getting a little overbearing as far as I'm concerned. So. I mean, I know that they had an issue, and I think you got another perspective of what happened with Councilor Canuel. He proposed something, and
he has the right idea. He has he thinks in the right way. He just doesn't word it properly. And I reviewed his resolution. Okay? And you can't dictate to the mayor or to department heads on what to do. You have 90 days to get me this information. You can't do that. You have to say, you'd like the information within 90 days. You'd like to invite the administration and the director of DCM or whoever to come forward and present the new numbers, because the numbers we currently have are 10 years old. I don't have a problem with that. But when you direct them in your resolution to do it in 90 days, that you can't do. And from what I've been told, Cliff Ponte and Andrew Raposo have spoken to him about his resolutions. And they've tried to get him to understand that you can't order them to do anything. They're the legislative branch. They control the money. Okay? And you and I agree on that. They control the money. But the thing is that they stop getting told shit from Matt Thomas and Runaway Rumsey that make no sense. For instance, the license for EMS. Licenses is an executive privilege. He can put as many licenses as he wants, and the city council has no say over it, unless they put in an ordinance requiring that all licenses.
So licenses already go before the council. When you get a license to open up when you get a license to open up an auto body shop, it's going to go before the council, doesn't it?
But according to Matt Thomas,
well, again, they're in where I have the freaking problem.
Matt Thomas is the one that told the mayor to issue a license.
Yeah, well, therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem. And this is all the council, and I hope some of them will watch it. Because I'm going to tell you something for the millionth time, you morons. Those guys are they're not judges. They're giving you their legal opinion. And legal opinions are like anal sphincters. Everybody's got one. Some works better than others. And remember one thing. This bum is working for the city because he can't make a living as a lawyer.
Right.
In a real world. And so is Rumsey. He went from the DA's office over here. These guys can't make a living. Rumsey was a prosecutor. Now what is he doing? Why isn't he getting criminal? Why isn't he criminal law? Look how much great criminal lawyers make. Hey, Jimmy, look at how much when you hire a good criminal lawyer, you know what happens. We saw when Jazel hired what's his name. These guys get zillions of dollars if they're good, but these guys suck. And the council treats them like they're God. Oh, he said that. He said that. He told us that. Why don't you ask him? Show me the freaking statute. Where is this an opinion or is this statutory? No, not one of these assholes does that. And I'm pissed now. They keep giving you the bullshit of, well, we told him, we told them. Listen, they can tell you anything they want. If you believe them, that's on you, you morons. Because I'll tell you what, when I took over the fire union, I had a grievance almost immediately. I went in to see Chief Louis A. Shea. And I said, this is a violation. No, it isn't. It's in statute. I said, show me the statute. And he went, I said, show me the statute. Oh, well, I think it's in statute. I said, show me the statute. There was no such statute. We won the grievance. But I asked a question. Then we had another situation where they said they had the statute. I said, give it to me. They gave it to me, and they couldn't read the statute right. They were reading it wrong and interpreting it wrong. They were taking one line out of the statute. We went to arbitration. The arbitrator said, you just can't take the part you like in a law. You got to read the whole law for the intent of the law. And we won that one. These clowns that we got in that council chamber, they use that as their buffer. We're not doing shit for 6 years. They've passed every budget. They've given him all the contracts without being funded. They put us in this position financially because they're the funding body. And he was right. And let me tell you something about this kid. He's trying. He doesn't know the law. And if he doesn't know the law, if they were really interested in the public, what they should have done to him and say, listen, procedurally, this is wrong. Let us explain to you how this is going to be worded. You have a good idea here. You want numbers. And, Kadeem now thinks that, like, he's always been on the arrogant side and the condescending side. But he's out of control. He's trying to scold this kid because you know why? This guy, Counselor Canuel, I shouldn't call him a kid. He's not a kid. He's a man. He's asking questions and he's doing his homework, and they don't like that. They don't like anybody that looks up numbers and gives you hard numbers because it exposes that they haven't done jack shit for the last 6 years of the Coogan administration. That's why we're at. We are where we are because of them. They are the body. They are the body. They have a fiduciary obligation. They cannot refuse to give them numbers. They have to request it, as you said, CJ. They have to request them.
Right.
And they have to request them because it is another branch of government. Once it's presented to them, now they can demand them to prove those numbers. That's the way it works. They are the fiduciaries. They have the most important job in a city. They're more important than the mayor. They're the ones that spent all our money.
Hey, they're the ones that doubled our budget in 1 year.
Exactly.
Because they all are spineless pricks. Except for Michelle, because Michelle did it every time. She would make motions to cut the budget, to cut things out of the budget, and nobody on that city council ever supported her. Nobody wanted to cut a dime.
And I hope Councilor Canuel is watching. I'm going to send him this. I'm going to read you something here. One of my favorites. I just dug it out of the pile because they keep talking about we can't ask for this. We can't, blah blah blah. This is from the Cornell Law School, and it's got a case site. One of the duties of a public fiduciary, the duty of accountability. You hear that word? Something they hate almost as much as forensic. The duty of accountability. Without a duty of accountability, the public's ability to monitor the behavior of public fiduciaries would be severely limited. From the duty of accountability flows the duty of transparency and the concepts of disclosure, open meetings, and accessibility of the public records. In 2007, the California Supreme Court articulated the notion of public fiduciary accountability in the International Association of Professional Technical Engineers, Local 21 AFL-CIO versus Superior Court 42, California, 4/3/1928. The court opined that, quote, implicit in the democratic process is the notion that government should be accountable for its actions. In order to verify accountability, individuals must have access to government files. Such access permits checks against the arbitrary exercise of official power and secrecy in the political process. I rest my case. You freaking counselors have not been doing your job for years. And it's there. Like I said, keep lighting novenas, because you son of a bitches, if I ever hit the lottery, you're all going to jail. You're all going to jail.
I'll tell you, I had a long conversation with the city councilor today. A very long conversation. And we talked about a lot of this. And the problem has been that this mayor, for the first 6 years, had the easiest time with the city council because he had Brad Douchebag Kilby, Paul the Giant Hart, Linda the Douchebag Pereira, Andrew the Porky Ball Raposo, and Ricky Teeth. And before Ricky Teeth, it was Laura Washington. He had the 5 votes he needed to get everything to go through with no questions.
But how many
So
times
the people that were asking the questions were putting on a performance because they knew no matter what they did, it was just going to go through. And now they may have the votes to start opposing things.
It's not looking.
No, they're going to start doing it. I said, you got to start doing it.
Yeah. Well, how many times did Kadim and Ponte vote with the 5?
I know.
Often after they articulate. But let me just quickly again, just that last quote. Think about what this is a court case from a Supreme Judicial Court in the largest state in the country. Implicit in the democratic process, and we're supposed to have it, is the notion that the government should be accountable for its actions. And in order to verify that, individuals must have access. So that it's not an arbitrary exercise of secrecy in the political process. But that's what we have in this city. This is a court case. This is a Supreme Court precedent. You're going to listen to that freaking moron with a part-time job? The guy can't make a living as a lawyer. He's a clown. If he wasn't there, he'd be chasing ambulances. These people aren't lawyers. You think Raymond Reddington has to go out and be a corporation counsel?
Sad part is they probably couldn't even make a buck chasing ambulances.
And then they treat them like they're Supreme Court justices. This is nuts. These people are not doing their job at all. They're going to rut this city. I don't even know how much we're going to spend on a snowstorm. It's going to be like $1 billion. I still got plows going down my street today. And the damn thing's down it's down, but they plowed in everything. I shoveled my hydrant because I'm a firefighter. I was a firefighter. There's a hydrant right in front of my house, the only hydrant on the street. I shoveled the hydrant out.
And they plowed it in. And I bet they plowed it in.
You can't even see the thing. It's the top.
Right across the street. A truck came down the street. All of a sudden, they've got snow. They put it. The old man across the street had just shoveled out his driveway. He shoveled out the sidewalk, shoveled out the ramp. All of a sudden, all the snow put from the street onto the sidewalk, onto the ramp. They brought it up the other street, put it in front of his garage, right on the sidewalk. Can't get out of his garage. I called government center. You know what I was told? Where do you want us to put it? Just like that. Real cocky. Where do you want us to put it? How about up your ass?
That's a very good suggestion. No, and I'll tell you, they had the firefighters out clearing hydrants.
I know they do.
Because I took the dog up the dog up to BCC just because she likes to go up there a little bit, and although she can't walk too much up there with the snow, I got the backyard cleared. But they were clearing a hydrant up in front of BCC on Ellsbury Street with about 8 feet of snow in front of it. It was like, yeah, no, you're right, Steve. You're right. I defer to that opinion. Yes. They're like Jesus. Jesus! You know, you said it. Hey, look, Thomas said it. The Corporation Council said it. Listen, the only time you ever got a Corporation Council that was worth a shit was if it's some big-time lawyer in a small town that volunteered his services to be Corporation Counsel as a public service.
That's right.
These clowns in cities like this are here because they can't make a living in law. Raymond Reddington is not going to be a Corporation Counsel. What's his billing rate? $1,750 an hour, $1,000 an hour?
Something like that.
Know. You know, we got these bozos that went from the DA's office over to Fall River. Like we talked about on the other show, this is all we get in Fall River. Oh, you got no qualifications? Go to Fall River. Oh, you want to be in charge of DCM? Do you have any experience? No. Oh, you want to be in charge of the finances? Do you have a degree in finance? No, I got it in political science. And can you do the Munis system? No, I don't know anything about it. Well, you're hired. This is what they do. And like I said, in private industry, they go, what are you doing in here? You know what? You're applying for a job you have zero qualifications for. And then we got the superintendent saying we got a welcome environment. And the mayor says, oh, I want to give her a chance. Well, give her a chance at the bottom. Let her work her way up. I know a person like you, CJ, as a nurse. She ended up the head of the nurses union up at the place in Stoughton, the Mass Hospital School. You know that place, right? She started out as an LPN, got her RN, went for a bachelor's in RN. And then, got a job. But that's the way you do it. She didn't start out as the head of a hospital or the dean of a nursing school as an LPN. She had to learn how to be a nurse.
That's right.
Everybody has to learn. I don't give a shit if you wanted to give Emily a job in the office. Then let her go and get an associate degree in accounting. And then maybe a bachelor's degree. And then maybe you can give her something. I have nothing against that person. I don't even know her. But I know she's unqualified.
All I know about her is every time she's asked for a number, I don't have those numbers with me right now.
She doesn't. She's totally unqualified.
Yeah, she is.
She's totally unqualified.
But that's all Paul can hire.
Well, listen.
He spent so much money, he can't afford to pay these people.
What other city would hire an ice house guard?
I know.
except for any job. The only job that ice house guard was qualified for was to be an ice house guard.
There you go.
But that's not what he got hired for.
That's right.
And we exposed it on this show.
And they pulled the offer.
But I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, I would too. Listen, Andy Griffith played in, I think this city's worse than Mayberry. We got a whole bunch of Barney Fifes in this city all over the place.
I know.
And but it's crazy. I mean, look at this storm. I walked out this morning, had an appointment to get to. I had a 4-foot ice dam in front of my yacht. I had to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, go out there with an icebreaker and 2 different kinds of shovels to break that thing down so I could get my 4-wheel drive SUV out of the driveway. The chunks were coming out like boulders. I couldn't pick them up the show. I had to pick them up manually and walk them over and put them on the top of the snowdrifts. And it's like, this is what they did overnight. I had the driveway clear. It's nuts.
Yeah, James, I saw what he did in the ordinance committee meeting, and we were talking about that a little bit ago. He talks down to him all the time. He treats him like he's a child.
Oh, yeah. Well, that deal about you want to have a town meeting about everything.
And remember what he said, James. Remember what he said. If you want to make this a town government, a representative form of government, you put that resolution in and I'll sign on to it.
Wait a minute. It is a representative form of government by the Constitution, okay? So, number one, that's number one. Number two, he's a condescending asshole. And you don't need to have a town meeting for every little expenditure. That's how condescending he is. If somebody says, listen, I just want some control over how you spend your money and when you spend an excessive amount. That's not asking for a town meeting for every penny you spend. No.
That's what I always say,
Kadeem,
Jeff.
look, Kadeem, like I said, Kadeem isn't a city councilor. He's a city administrator. He's acting like the city administrator and of Seekonk and Fall River. He thinks like a city administrator. He doesn't care about the people. He wants unfettered access, and he's going to make the decisions. He said that numerous times. He has the attitude that you elected me, now I can do any fucking thing I want. And that's not true. That's not true. You're supposed
Jeff, they're saying 6+ inches, providing the show doesn't, the storm doesn't shift. If it shifts so much as 50 miles, we can almost double that.
Just what we need.
Right.
I want to know how much we spent on this. They were plowing for 3 days. How about the list of the guys that get $100 for not even plowing?
How about the fact that they've got ads all over Facebook looking for plow drivers because nobody wants to work for this city. They're paying them $125 an hour, requiring outrageous amounts of insurance, and they're then making them wait 6 months to get paid. You know what I'd say?
Mm-hmm.
I'll do the local parking lots and get paid that same day. Why do I want to wait?
Well, they can charge what they want, but they're not going to get more parking by charging more because people in Fall River just don't have the. Unfortunately, everybody thinks everybody in the city's got a ton of money, and they don't. And that's the problem with Kadeem. Kadeem is a condescending freaking pontificator who sits there and tries to say, the stuff he makes no sense. He's totally illogical. All he says is, and he demeans people.
Right.
He takes Councilor Canula. Oh yeah, well, like this is a trifling issue. Listen, Kadeem, you went bankrupt once. Now you got a nice big job. You got a lot of money. Who knows how much else you made on the side being a politician? Like Ilhan Omar. I don't know. But let me tell you something. $5 million is a lot of fucking money.
Yes, it is.
So is 20 million to the people of Fall River. Have you taken the time to look at the average median income in Fall River, the average household income? No, you haven't, because you don't give a shit. You elected, they're electing you, and you're going to determine what's right. That's not the way the government works. You're up there, you can do what you want unless the people contact you. You're a representative of the people. If I got a bitch and I want my state rep or my congressman to vote a certain way, I'm going to contact his office. And I'm going to complain. And enough people complain, they have to do what the people tell them. That's what the Constitution says. And if they don't deserve to be in office. That's why I told Governor Dukakis I couldn't support him for president, because he denied the people of Massachusetts. They voted for the death penalty. He helped overturn that vote, flip the vote, because he was opposed to the death penalty personally. And I said, you didn't have that right. The people spoke, just like we spoke about having an audit, and they gave us the big middle finger. No, you can't audit us, Mike. Right? You can't audit us. One branch of government can't, interfere. And that's what Thomas. Oh, you can't interfere with executive. Fuck you, whiz. Show me where it says that in a statute. I want somebody in the council to once say, "Show me the statute." Is this a statute? Is this statutory, or do you have a legal opinion? Or is it your legal opinion? If it's your legal opinion, it's just your opinion. That's all it is. And I can go get another opinion if I want. That's horse shit. And, this is the problem. These people just, they pretend. They're all actors. They're all actors. They pretend to do something, and they're just taking care of themselves. Nobody cares. And Kadeem is all over this kid because he's doing his homework. He looks for numbers and stuff. Granted, he doesn't understand, because public sector is different. You got different laws to deal with. You got retirement laws. You got collective bargaining laws. You've got statutes. But if the council truly cared about the people, they'd like to have somebody like this on a job. He likes numbers. He does some good research. Let's utilize it. Why don't you just say, procedurally, this isn't right, Mike. We're going to show you how it should be worded, and we'll work together. We agree with you. We should have these numbers. But no, Kadeem's got to take this to beat this freshman counselor down, to make him hopefully shut up. And I hope he doesn't. Just keep going. Oh, passionate my ass. Oh, give me that. Clay, that's Robin protecting Batman. He's passionate. I'm passionate too. But you know what a wise man once said? This is nothing but semantics. A man once introduced me on a radio with the best introduction I ever had. Gus Sunnison said, I got the president of the firefighters union here. To his friends, he is a fighter. To his enemies, he's pugnacious. That's it. So, it's like rich people. Rich people are not crazy. When you got enough money, you're not a fucking nut. You know what you are? You're eccentric. This is semantics. All right? This is what, Cliff, give me a break. If Sean stopped quick, they would need the jaws of life to extricate you from his anal sphincter. And it's obvious. Batman's the real president. The only passion he has is about showing everybody he's in charge, and he knows the most of anybody in that council chamber. You guys didn't do shit for 6 years. Show me one thing. Show me one thing that you didn't approve that saved us a bunch of money. Never. You approved. You let them go $2 million in the hole. You were warned. I sent you the letter saying if they kept spending the money, they'd be short. You didn't do a freaking thing. Don't give me your horse shit. I don't want to hear your horse shit. I've saved more. I'm not even an elected official. And I've saved this city more money by mistake than you clowns ever have sitting in those chairs. on health care, in the retirement system, and other places. You guys are full of shit. I'm sorry. Listen, they're going to bury everything. Where did they dump? Remember, they dumped that hazardous materials and they buried it in a cemetery? CJ?
What was that?
Remember when they buried the hazmat stuff in a cemetery?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so we remember when somebody talked about hazardous materials, it was gone. Oh, there's no hazardous materials there. No, they went and buried it in a freaking cemetery.
That's right.
You're going to trust these clowns? They cover up everything.
Well, they put the police station, the old police station, out to bid for demolition. They're estimating that it's going to cost about $2 million. Did they take into consideration the asbestos? There's a lot of asbestos in that building.
Oh, yeah, that building's ancient. Yeah, there's tons of that.
There's a lot of asbestos in that building, just like there's a lot of asbestos in the central station. Now, firefighters, and the union president went before the city council and said they have one shower working at Central Station. Al Oliveira said, I went through the building and there's adequate number of showers in the station. Is adequate one? He didn't say how many. He said adequate.
Oh, no, you know why? Because he was counting the shower heads. He didn't ask if they worked.
That's right.
But that's what they do. Listen, remember when Sahadi came in with $45 million for health care? I sent the text. They came in. It was really 40. She tried to rob 5. Did anybody ever censure her or say, we never want you to come back here with an erroneous number again? No. They don't do anything. They do not adhere to their fiduciary obligation and never have.
Now, here's the bigger problem, which you and I have identified in the past, and I basically got a little heated with the city councilor today. The problem is the city does nothing. They wait and they wait and they wait and they wait and they wait. Today, it'll cost $1 million. They'll wait 5 years and it'll cost 10.
Yeah.
They're penny wise and dollar foolish.
Or they'll do
Had they knocked that station down years ago, it would have only cost $250,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000.
Yeah.
Now they're waiting. It's going to be $2 or $3 million.
Listen,
had they taken care of the Central Fire Station, it would be costing them $3 or $6 million.
They'll cover it up. They'll bury it somewhere. They'll rot. They'll have. Listen, the Globe Fire Station's still there.
Right.
I worked at the Central Fire Station on Scope 1. I worked there as a chief in District 1. When I first made chief, I was downtown. I saw the asbestos in that station. You're not going to tell me there was no asbestos in that station because I saw it. There was asbestos at the Globe. The Globe's got a flat roof. You know how many times they fixed that roof? I can't even count the number.
Right.
I told them 40 years ago, spend the money to pitch the roof. We've had nothing but problems with flat roofs, and these roofs never last. They never did it. They never did it. It's like the time they put the doors in, and after they put the doors in, they found out the ladder truck couldn't fit in because the doors were the wrong size.
I remember that. I remember
that one? Oh, shit, we can't get the ladder in here. Oh, boy, it's going to have to go to Candeas. Yeah, because, and the city spent, I forgot how much on that. Then look at these people. This is a clusterfuck. Okay? They couldn't lead a one-man parade, these people. Okay? All they know how to do is what Democrats do best. Tax and spend. Tax and spend. Oh, yeah, by the way, James, isn't that her job? You go down to the council to talk about finance, and you don't have the numbers for what's on the agenda. That never, ever happened with Alan Silver, Jim Smith, or Bob Connors. Did you ever see that happen, CJ? I can't, in my
Nope.
recollection.
You ask Alan Silver this, boom, he had the numbers. You
Yeah.
ask Bob Connors, he had the numbers. Right to the penny. Right to the penny.
Yep. No, they went down prepared. It was in their contract that they had to go to every single
That's right.
council meeting and be prepared to answer questions on anything on the agenda. We now, for the last 6 years, we've had never get an answer. And if you get an answer, well, this is just for discussion purposes. These numbers are just, they're not really accurate. We're full of shit. But, we're going to just give you an answer so the camera will say, oh, how are you going to fund this? Oh, investments down the road. Did any counselor say what investments? No. 9 of them sat there like mummies. What investments? I want to see one counselor now ask them what investments that Bridget Allman said was going to fund that police contract were ever realized and applied to that police contract. I dare one of them to ask that question. Because you'll never get an answer.
No, we don't.
They'll send a lawyer down saying, oh, it's executive privilege. Because that's what they say all the time. Oh, you can't do that. What is he, a dictator? There's no such thing. He can do anything he wants. No, he can't. He can't do anything he wants. There are parameters in what you can do. I'm sorry. There are certain things that the executive branch has discretion over, but the bottom line is the most important people in this city, unfortunately, are the city council. And we got a clown show down here now. I mean, we replaced Kilby, but it's like now half of them that even pretended before to be like semi-logical are now just showing their true colors. Oh, he's passionate. Oh, yeah, let's excuse it away. Yeah, there's Nelson. Let's throw him out for being passionate. Nelson, I can't believe you got thrown out of the council meeting. Why didn't you turn around and tell Joe Camara, no, what are you throwing me out for? I'm passionate about what I'm talking about here.
That's right.
I don't know. Seems like did Cliff jump up and say, that's right, leave Nelson in the chamber. He's passionate. Oh, no, Batman just got crucified for being an asshole, so I'm going to protect him. Robin always protects his 6. I mean, this has become a joke already. It's only freaking January. I mean, I can't even imagine what the budget hearings are going to be like.
Well, what's interesting is, and you have to admit that it's just getting to be totally off the wall. People forget. People forget all the time. I'm still here. People forget all the time. Linda Pereira, first city council meeting. What does she do? I want to change the dates of these meetings so I can go to fucking Florida away from you people. You knew what the meetings were. They've been the same for decades, for centuries. They've been the same. So, bitch, if you can't attend the meeting, give up your seat. I'm tired of you begging everyone to turn their schedule around for you. But this is what happens. Entitlement isn't just the people. Entitlement is the elected officials. They think they walk on water. They think they're better than God. They think the Pope should genuflect in front of them. You know what my response to that is? Fuck you! Excuse my language.
Yeah, well, the government center, I still can't believe when he even built it, I was against it. I wanted to recondition the old city hall, which was an architectural gem. But
Right.
now they built it over a freaking major highway. I can't believe it. One of these days, it's going to be on the highway. Yeah, CJ's being passionate. You can say anything you want when
That's
you're
right. I'm
passionate.
just passionate.
You're
I'm just
passionate.
passionate.
That's the
Remember
new
that. I'm
one.
just passionate.
That's the new excuse. Passionate. You know,
Yeah.
not being a raving lunatic. We're passionate. Oh yeah, you know, forgive Batman. He's passionate.
Just
No, he's
passionate.
passionate about keeping control. That's like the Democrats. They'll do anything to get power. They'll let people get shot. They told people to resist, and the first thing they tell you is not to resist. If it's a peaceful demonstration, did Gandhi resist? No. He got beaten with clubs, dragged into jail. Mandela went to jail for decades. Freaking, you know, Martin Luther King got arrested, got beat down at protests. I'm not saying it was right for them to get beat down, but that's what the protest that's in the Constitution is about. You don't bring 9 millimeters with two high capacity magazines. And by the way, for the record, I'm glad somebody said that on a show because I told somebody that and they weren't aware of that. If you're interacting with law enforcement and you're carrying a firearm and you have a permit, you're supposed to tell them that you're carrying.
That's right.
You're not supposed to hide it. You're supposed to say, I have a concealed carry permit, and I am carrying a firearm.
That's right.
And he didn't do that. Just like the one that kept driving when he said get out of the car and drove at him and hit him. The guy got into some injuries. But this is the thing. But the Democrats turn that around. Oh, you got a right to resist. Throw yourself in front of take a bullet for us. They're not taking a bullet for anybody. But they're using that for a new Rodney King and George Floyd. That's what they do. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right, James. I couldn't have said it better. He is showing what a total a-hole he is. And, he's always been a condescending yo-yo. And, yeah, no, yeah. Look, they had rats at Stanley Street. They got they did have asbestos down there. They probably moved it. Like I said, what they buried, they said it that they capped the hazmat stuff. Whatever happened to that? Did they ever mitigate it? No, I don't know. By law, you're supposed to mitigate that shit. When they found out they buried that shit, we were supposed to get rid of it. I never heard anything about
it. I remember the big stink we made over plant pots being ruined. Remember that? Remember that? Linda Pereira's nephew ruined the plant pots. All in the cemetery, damaged all the planters. Threw them in the cemetery dump.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay, what happened to him?
Nothing. That's right. Jeff is saying it's not as saying it wasn't a gun, it was a phone. He was holding a phone, but he had a concealed weapon. And then when he started resisting arrest, somebody must have spotted the gun and they yelled gun. Now when he's trying to fight his way out and resist, they thought he was going to go. They might have thought he was going to go for his gun. It should have never happened in the first place. This happened because the Democrats wanted it to happen. What did Tim Walz and that useless bastard Fry do now? That he now agreed to allow ICE agents to go into the jails and arrest the people. They're letting them out the back door into the street. The ICE agents got to go into the street. And these demonstrators, by the way, I'm bragging, we brought it up, proved this has got nothing to do with illegals.
No,
this has got nothing to do with illegals because now that Tim Walz has agreed to allow ICE to go in and get them once they're done with their prosecution at the state level, they will hold them and let them go in and just take them away.
That's right.
They demonstrated against Tim Walz. They rioted the other night. They're being paid to create chaos. It's got nothing to do with it. Now they hate Walz because he won't let them. there'll be no reason for them to riot anymore. Every other part of the country that doesn't have this problem, they're cooperating with ICE. They go, okay, we got a rapist. He's charged with rape. You got all these federal charges. When he gets done with his adjudication here, you can come and get him. And they did. They even did it outside Minneapolis and other areas of Minnesota. They've had absolutely no problem. This was a manufactured mess. They sacrificed people's lives for their political agenda. And these people don't care. The rest of them are professional agitators because they proved it. Tim Walz was on their side, and he was their big, they loved him until he said, well, I'm going to actually do the right thing, and now they want to crucify him too. So this is it's all political theater. I hate to say this. Nobody gives a damn about the illegals. They still haven't figured out though how many what is it, 300,000 kids that Biden lost? Nobody gave a shit about that when the Democrats are in. Danny Robillard just said we need to go. Oh, we've been talking about a forensic audit, Danny, for years. No, you're right. Oh yeah, no, of course it is. They want, and I'll tell you what. I bet you 20. I'll bet you $20. Small bet, but I'll bet you that Waltz, the first thing out of his mouth was, "Oh, Don, you think you could kind of like? I really didn't know about it. I don't care what they say. You think you can kind of go easy on me with this fraud? Don't put me in jail, even though everybody said I knew about it." So they all of a sudden they became cooperative because they you're right. They're going to do everything to distract from the fact that the Democrats do not have any plan for moving this country forward except put them in power, and they'll start with the Green New Deal again and letting the illegals in again and doing whatever the hell they want. They have no plan. They did, when they were in high crime, the murder rate's the lowest it's been since 1900. Yeah, I did too. I don't know what happened to that. But I guess it's only January. Let's see what happens. And I'm really, there's a new dynamic at the city council. It's almost like they are waiting to ascend to the throne. Batman and Robin, we all know the rumor, conspiracy theory, the rumor, Class A rumor. Paul Coogan is not going to make his entire term. He's going to turn it over to Cliff. They're going to have a special election. Cliff's going to run for mayor. So now we have a new gang in town, and so it looks like they're all preparing. So they're going to be unfettered by any control. But look, the CPA this summer. I hope we can all get together and repeal that CPA. Not let Sean Kadim decide who gets it, because he decides that who gets everything, or at least he thinks so. And maybe we can also put this in the form of a referendum that we do have some kind of control over the spending, because it is our constitutional right. No, I think it was. I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart. I think it was a setup.
Well, it was amazing how she got sprayed with something that was harmless.
Yeah.
And when she was told by her security people to stop her meeting and to go to the hospital and be checked out, she said, "Oh no, we're going to continue with my meeting." So tell me she didn't know. And then Donald Trump came out and said she probably did it herself.
Yeah, and I don't doubt you're right. Like you said, if somebody sprayed me with an unknown liquid, I would definitely want to find out what the hell it was. I'd be on my way to the hospital. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
And listen, talking about security, her husband got paid $500,000 to provide security for her.
Right.
$500,000. She's got tons of security.
Right.
Nobody's getting up there to spray her. I'm sorry. I mean, this is, as you said, this is a deflection because she's up to her eyeballs in this fraud deal. And look at the other stuff. Look at her investments. She's making Nancy Pelosi look like a piker. I think her husband had a company, an investment company, which is funny. And you know what they had in their checking account? Pretty good numbers. I might be transposing them with someone, but I think he had $42.44 in their account. Now he's got like 54 million. Wow, that's some really good investment strategy. If I only had $42 and 44 cents, 42.44 to invest, I'd be invested in penny stocks. I'm not making 54 million in a year. I don't think so. So there's a lot there to cover up. I mean, when they start looking at Omar with a microscope, there's an awful lot of things that don't make sense, like Nancy Pelosi's stock trades and all their stock trades, and Ilhan Omar's stock trades, and paying her husband, marrying her brother. It's crazy. It's just, I mean, that's what happens. You let these Democrats run amok. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Coogan's got nothing to lose. He's a lame duck. He's going to give everybody he can a job. He's going to give everybody that he can as much as he can give them, because he's going to go out way bye to Fall River.
I mentioned that to the city council. I said, look, every one of these mayors have put their political kiss asses into a job, and they're still sitting there. And you know what I was told? Name one. I said, I'll name three. I said, first one is Falsfiore. He's in a job. He does nothing. Gets paid good money. He's in the pension system. He's getting health care benefits. And nobody sees or hears him. Oh, well, he's in a position that was there before. I don't care. I said, think about this for a second. What about the water department? We had somebody retire from the water department, and the next day came back as a consultant making twice his salary. But keep your mouth shut, keep your head down. People will forget about it. And guess what? You forgot about it. And they did. They forgot about it. They forgot all about Sullivan. It's amazing.
No, it's I mean, you look at what's happening. Like I said, and I think that Tim Walz is them attacking Tim Walz after he was their icon. As soon as he said, I'm going to do the right thing, now they'll have no excuse. They'll have to go on record as just being the terrorists that they are. They went nuts. They went absolutely crazy over there with and they went nuts. Now they want to hang them from the yardarm, make them walk the plank. I mean, and I'm not optimistic with this council. I'm telling you. I mean, it's just. I think we're going to have to take a lot of political action this summer. I don't know.
Hopefully we do, and hopefully we get the people to step up, because you and I can't do it alone. We've done that before.
We had a bunch of, we got some people. I think this year is going to be, they're going to break it. I mean, they're going to break the city bank. I mean, and Shawnee, before he leaves, Shawnee was crying because they dropped it a lousy 10% to 60%.
Yep.
And he was whining. I mean, 60% still like 300 million or some shit like that. So it's like, I mean, he's getting ridiculous. And here's the
excuse that it was used. It doesn't matter what the limit is. It's the debt service. If we borrow $200 million and pay it back over 20 years, We're leveraging our finances. No, you're spending money.
Well, there is a guy who would, now you know why he went bankrupt.
Right.
Because listen, uh, in private industry, when you leverage something, it's going to be beneficial to you. When you do it in government and kick it down the road for 20 or 30 years, the city goes into receivership.
That's right.
Because then you have such a debt that it's impossible to pay, and the city will be in receivership, and we're very, very close to that. So, but Sean Kadim doesn't care about debt because, Sean Kadim may live in Fall River now because he wants to get elected like Coogan moved back in. Coogan's going to be gone, and when they tank the city, they're all not going to live here anymore.
Right.
They're all going to have summer homes in Florida and a home somewhere else if they want to stay in New England. Why they would want to stay in New England with these winters is crazy. But they're all going to go somewhere else because they're all filthy rich. And they're going to say, hey, screw those idiots in Fall River that are making 30, 31,000. I don't care about them. I never did care about them. Just like these rioters don't care about illegals. They had another video of a guy leaving his wife and his kid and running down the street in handcuffs. They got him. But,
Yep.
I mean, just like the other one had abandoned his daughter, and the Democrats immediately spun out and said, oh, look, ICE kidnapped the daughter and used her as bait. No, the guy jumped out and took off. Well, that's a new one. Well, we're wrapping it up anyway. So, Facebook.
Yep. We lost our Facebook feed.
Ugh, bad day today.
Yep. It's been nutty all day with our internet
Yep.
setup. So I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Friday. Have a great day.